No, thanks, Comrade Chair. I think on the first issue about death threats to public officials, we always condemned the levels of intolerance because there are people that if people have different views, you can't punish them. Our own constitutional democracy, we thrive in terms of our diversity of opinions, freedom of speech, and so forth. That someone holds a different view on any matter should be intimidated is not acceptable in this country. That people can resort to intimidation, to violence, including killings, irrespective whether they're a public figure or not, because there are matters that don't get reported of South Africans who are suffering in silence. And those people who get to be affected in terms of their rights and freedoms, they know where the South African law enforcement agencies are. It's very important that these matters get to be formally reported. There are many cases that are not reported, so that the police and other agencies, they're able to bring these people to book. I think it's very important to say we deal with issues of principle rather than an isolated case. And it should always worry us, including the matter that Comrade Mahlobo will respond to. The security of the leadership and every South African is not only leadership. Every South African must be secured in his or her land of birth. It's our responsibility. One small addition, Comrade Chair, on the issue of racism, let's not only look at racism on the softer part. There is a systematic racism that still remains institutional. And then there's this racism and patriarch nature of our economy. That if you don't discuss it, and you don't arrive at a resolution of the patriarchal nature and racist nature of our economy, it poses a security threat. And we are raising this issue, and it can't be correct that racism can be reduced on the other softer issues, which are important issues, but they are fundamental issues that can keep the country together or not. The issue around intelligence failure, my problem is only one, is our ability to understand how intelligence works. Because people have this, the doctrine by itself, we gather information, you pass it to other agencies to be able to deal with it. We can't have an expectation that when we get information, we must announce to the country that there's going to be a crime that is going to be committed, we are going to be putting so much roadblock and so much personnel. And immediately you wanted to discuss operational issues, people are going to run away. You will not be able to do that. There's never been intelligence failure, even in our own meetings. Even the situation in Vuan and those who sit in the NEC with us. Leadership in that province agreed that intelligence was given a year before, 6 months before, a month and a day before. But there's a reality that one day we must discuss about how we actually deal with certain issues in certain areas, but we'll discuss it more in the policy conference. But there's nothing called like intelligence failure. But if there are those who want to actually delegitimize intelligence, because sometimes the subject matter, you have to have a deeper appreciation. How does the subject matter? We work within a system. That's why our chairperson here was saying that intelligence is coordinated more strategically now. We have state security, we have crime intelligence, you have defense intelligence. There's an umbrella body called National Intelligence Coordinating Council that is there, that deals with those particular issues. But how does the failures within the system, when information is there, is something else. And don't expect that if we have intelligence, we actually have powers to actually arrest people when they have not committed crime. We don't do that. The issue around the use of state resources used for political battles. We always condemn this thing. But in any instances, there are instances where certain incidents have actually happened, where state institutions can actually be abused. But the nice thing about our country, there are balance and checks. There are balance and checks. One of the balance and checks, let's say in intelligence, you have a minister. I'm not an operative. You can report. But if you feel you don't trust that minister who's deployed there, go to the Inspector General of Intelligence. That's the provision we made in law. Then you can even go to the committee in Parliament called Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. Lastly, there is even our courts. You have always have a recourse mechanism. The only thing that always puzzles me is the ability of people who feel that their rights, their freedoms are infringed. They don't report, and they choose actually to put it in the public domain. What do you want us to do?